I can't imagine I'd ever just at the end of a game be like, this was interesting to me. Really fascinating. This is the former president of Blizzard coming out. He currently works for, Microsoft after the acquisition and stuff. Mike Ybarra. Does that name ring a bell to you, Flash?
No.
Okay. This is a big player in the video game space.
If I see him.
Well, here he is with this tweet. And this is just apps. This is like, I'm kind of appalled at the thought of this. He says, I thought about this for a while as a player since I've been diving into single player games lately. When I beat a game, there are some that just leave me in awe of how amazing the experience was. At the end of the game, I've often thought, I wish I could give these folks another $10 or $20 because it's worth more than the initial $70. And they didn't try to nickel and dime me every second. Games like HC Day, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, etc. I know $70 is already a lot, but it's an option at the end of the game I wish I had at times. Some games are that special. I know most will dislike this idea. By the way, I realize we are tired of tipping and everything else, but I view this as different from a pressure to tip type scenario that may face and give feedback. The idea of tipping a game development company, not a game developer, an entire company, because God knows that, let's say you tip $10, $20 at the end of your gaming experience. That's not going to go to the low-level tester. That's not going to go to the actual developer. That's going to go to the CEO's pocket at the end of the day.
Sure.
But I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Flash, because you said something in the show about this.
We were talking about it a little bit before the show. I think sometimes I do want to do that, like for Helldivers 2. I spent $20 on the super credits to buy stuff in the store, and I did that because I like the game and I wanted to tip the developers something, because I think that the game is really good. And so far, other than their community manager, they've been pretty great to the fans. So I was like, well, I want to give them a little money, and I spent $20 in their store. In this case, though, he's saying tip them for nothing.
Yeah, you don't get anything in return. You have your great experience. You're so filled with euphoric bliss that you're like, God dang it, I need to give them an extra $20. Which, by the way, if you're feeling that euphoric bliss right now and you want to give us $20, hey, let's go. But with that said, it is interesting because I don't have a problem at all with like a free-to-play product, right? Like, let's say Apex. I've spent money on Apex Legends. I know this is an EA game, but I probably spent well over 1,000 hours playing Apex, right? I probably spent $30 playing during my entire 1,000 hours of playing Apex. I'm okay with that. I feel like I've gotten my value out of that $30. I can't imagine I'd ever just at the end of a game be like,
what you do there is what they do in games like Helldivers, where you have like skins and cosmetic stuff. Because all that's optional. Like, you're not losing anything by not buying like some piece of armor. I mean, that's all optional. It doesn't break the game. It doesn't do anything other than just make your character fashionable.
Right.
Like, I don't think that hurts anybody. And then if you want to, you can buy it. Like, I can't imagine it costs a lot of resources just to make some skin. So that's probably all profit mostly when people buy that stuff. I'm not a developer, so I don't know, but that's just what
I'll be interested to see if an indie dev implements that into their game, into their system, which, now that people have thought about it, I'm sure somebody will be like, yeah, we should do that, because the tipping economy is insane. But what was interesting is that Kotaku, pretty much right after this, comes out and this is like, I think this is another great example of the state of the industry. It says ex-Blizzard exec dragged for suggesting gamers start tipping. Yeah, your point is like 100%. Like, the idea that Kotaku kind of like is going to bat for this exec in this situation is kind of like, it's another great example of things, right? Yes, you should be critical of the guy who is worth several $1 million who's like, yeah, we should tip more. It's like, fuck off, man. I don't know. That drives me crazy. I don't think I've ever played a game that I've been like, yeah, I really, really feel the need to spend more money on it. It's insane.